Hi everyone, my name's Allie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a video kind of just like for fun. This was inspired by I saw creator Jack Edwards. He often interviews celebrities who are in book adaptations or just interviews celebrities about books in general. He always asks these celebrities what their required reading is, and I like to put myself in that seat and be like, okay, if I was getting interviewed, like what would I answer? I always do that, like especially with questions that are consistently asked to celebrities, like the Letterboxd top 4, like what's your top 4? I'm always like, oh, what would I say if I was asked that question? You know, out in imaginary land. And so I decided I wanted to make a video about my required reading. Before I get into this is not books you have to read in order to subscribe to this channel, follow me on my platform, be my friend, I don't know. I just say that this is my required reading because I think these are books that really shaped me as a reader or just like are my favorite books. I'm also not claiming that every single one of these books is the best book ever written. Okay, now that disclaimers are out of the way, let's get on to my required reading list. I'm going to start out in the romance genre. I feel like I read mostly romance or like fiction that has a romantic plot in it. So starting with romance, I always recommend Emily Henry. Anytime somebody asks me like what one of my favorite authors is, Emily Henry is always in there. I think for this list though, I'm gonna keep my required reading to 2 books, Beach Read and Happy Place. These are my favorites by her. I think I've rated every single book she's written 5 stars, but I feel like these are the 2 that have stuck with me the most and that I keep going back to. I don't know, I love both of these. Happy Place honestly took me by surprise because I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. But yeah, love Emily Henry so much. The next romance series is a new addition to this list for me, but I read the last book in this series last week and I was just so in awe of this author and also just this series in general because it was just so good. It's been a while since I've read a romance series where every single book is a banger, and that is the Skyland series by Kennedy Ryan. These are interconnected standalones. The first one is Before I Let Go, then This Could Be Us, then Can't Get Enough. However, I really recommend reading them in order and reading all of them. This follows a group of friends, Yasmin, Soledad, and Hendrix, and you get all 3 of their stories and their love stories, but also just the stories that make them as people. There's strong themes of female friendship in this as well that just I love. During the epilogue of Can't Get Enough, the last book, I was like crying through the entire epilogue because it was such a great way to wrap not only that book up but also the entire series up. I love this book. I think Kennedy Ryan just like, she writes emotion in a way that I've never experienced before, and also she just does such a great job at putting you inside the character's head and putting you in the shoes of the character. Like I love her writing. And also the romances in here are so good. I feel like the men actually support their women's personal journeys, and it goes in depth to that I don't usually see a lot in romance. So yeah, I love this. I was doing sorority recruitment last weekend and I had just finished This Could Be Us, and every time that somebody said that they read romance, I was like, you have to pick up Kennedy Ryan, This Could Be Us, like it's amazing. I'm not sure which direction I want to go next. I think I'm gonna go into classics next. Now warning, these 2 you probably read in high school. I was that girl in the high school class that loved to read and honestly really liked the books that we were reading. I have both of my editions of this book. This book I read my junior year in my AP English language class, and that is The Great Gatsby. These are the 2 editions I have. This is just the regular paperback, and then this is the signature classics edition. My friend got me this for Christmas. I love this book. I always say one of my biggest like book red flags is how much I love The Great Gatsby, mainly because there are certain, I'm just gonna say it, men that read The Great Gatsby and they take it a different way than I think I have taken it. This is just one of the classics that I keep going back to and like seeing the themes in everyday life. I say even if you've seen the movie, read this. It's just so good. So good. This next book, probably my favorite classic ever as of right now, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I have 3 of the versions. This is the copy that I read in high school and it's annotated to hell. I read this in my AP English literature class. I think it was our summer reading and I loved it. I loved it so much. I also have the Penguin Clothbound Classics, and this edition, which I think is Paper Mill Press, I found it at a used bookstore and I just really liked it. If you ask my opinion on the adaptation that's about to come out, my mommy told me if I have nothing nice to say nothing at all. But yeah, again, this is one of those classics that I just like, I keep coming back to. I feel like people approach it as a romance, but it's not a romance. I truly love this story. I really do. I know it's kind of harder for people to read because it's told in a really different way, but I really appreciate this story. Those are the two classics that I brought down. I think this is a great time to transition into just like genre fiction, because the first book I have from that is The Favorites by Lane Fargo, which is a retelling kind of Wuthering Heights, but through the perspective of ice dancers who have a romantic relationship together and have been skating together since they were very young. This book I read last year, and I keep thinking about it. I think about it almost every day. I really like how this kind of takes influence from the original work in that it's told through a docuseries kind of. We do also get Katerina's perspective, but it's mainly told through a docuseries of somebody on the outside looking in and just explaining what they saw. I really love this book. Lane Fargo also just announced that it's getting a, as she says, sapphic little sister in 2027, and I'm so excited for it. Again, this book, a lot of people approach it as a romance, but it is not. This truly, I think also a lot like the original text, is about obsession. I don't know. I just love this so much. I think the reason why I love this so much is also because I love Wuthering Heights so much. So good. Okay, next in genre fiction, another book that is approached like a romance, but it really isn't, is Normal People by Sally Rooney. The most annoying person you know says their favorite book is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I think if you really can relate to either Connell or Mary Ann, or even find pieces of yourself in both of them, this book will hit really hard for you. Yeah, this is another book where I read this 3 years ago, I want to say. No, 4 years ago. Oh my gosh. I read this for the first time 4 years ago, and it still sits with me every single day. I think about this so much. I will hear a song and just start crying because to know me is to know. I love this book. The next two series I'm going to talk about, one is dystopian and one is like fantasy, low fantasy. These are both YA series. Both of these are series where I'm like, if I read this today, I don't know how I would feel about it, but I have very strong opinions on it based on when I read it when I was 16. So yeah, let's just get into those. So this next series is the Legend series by Marie Lu. This is part of the dystopian boom that happened post Hunger Games, but these were actually good. I read these in 2020. Again, I was 16. I remember reading these books back in 2020 and being really scared because I was like, the way this dystopian world is set up, it's a United States in the future. And this was the first one I had read in a while where I was like, I can clearly see the steps that the United States right now would take to become this in the future. And it was so frightening, but also so good to read. I absolutely adored this series. I also just adored the characters as well. The two main characters, Day and June, were just such great main characters for this series. The last series I'm going to talk about, this series specifically really shaped the way that I view yearning and love in books. One of the male main characters in this, truly like number one yearner. Like, I also really love the magic system of just like this world. I don't know. Once again, I hear certain songs and I will start crying because I'm thinking about this series, and that is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. So once again, I read this originally when I was 16. I actually reread Clockwork Angel last year. I was expecting to not like it, but I actually ended up really enjoying it. So I'm wondering if I can like go back and reread the entire series. I don't know. But this series and Tessa and Will and Jem, I cannot read other love triangles because this love triangle is just it for me. This is on my required reading list because I love it. And that's really, you know, what is to be said about all of the books on this list. I love it, and that's why it's on my required reading list. I love these books so much. I still have playlists and Pinterest boards about these three, like, to this day. I hope you guys enjoyed my required reading list. I'm trying to think if there's any books that I've left off, but I can't think of any right now. There might be more that are on my required reading list. I might make a part 2 to this in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and hearing about my required reading. I really appreciate it. Again, disclaimers, I'm not saying these are the best books of all time, best books ever written. I'm just saying I love them a whole lot. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!